استنكر رئيس المجلس الأوروبي شارل ميشيل تصنيف كيان الاحتلال الإسرائيلي لوكالة الأمم المتحدة لإغاثة وتشغيل اللاجئين الفلسطينيين أونروا منظمة إرهابية. وقال في مقابلة حصرية أجرتها رؤيا على هامش أعمال مؤتمر الاستجابة الإنسانية الطارئة في غزة في البحر الميت الثلاثاء إن دعم المجلس للعاملين في المجال الإنساني مهم للغاية، باعتباره الوسيلة الأمثل لمواجهة كل من يحاول تقويض دور الأمم المتحدة. نتابع.
We're joined today by the President of the European Council right here at the Dead Sea, where the Urgent Humanitarian Response for Gaza conference just took place. Welcome. It's very nice to see you today. What commitments is the EU prepared to announce after this conference?
Two elements. Since day one, we've decided to support all those who are mobilized on the ground to support the people in need in Gaza. We've already mobilized more than 800 million euros in assistance. We are also working to coordinate the supply of humanitarian assistance on the ground. We are working with our member states. We are working with the UN agencies. We have seen, for instance, when there was this attempt to consider UNRWA as a terrorist organization, that we cannot accept something like that, and we also would like to pay tribute to the role and the work of the humanitarian workers, and many of them they pay the ultimate price. It means that this strong support from the EU is extremely important, because this is the best way to counter all those who are trying to undermine the role of UNRWA, for instance. This is one important element, but fundamentally we know that this is fundamental to think what will be the situation the day after, and to prepare the day after. And it means that political talks, political coordination is needed, and the EU is ready to play a stronger role, a more ambitious role, together with the countries in the region, together with the United States, so that we can make some decisions that will be helpful for bringing peace and security in that region.
How should the international community address the underlying causes of this aggression to prevent further harm and suffering?
I think there are fundamental principles based on the international humanitarian law, and each civil life matters, and that's why our common responsibility is to act first, to put in place this ceasefire, to implement this urgent ceasefire, point one, to facilitate the humanitarian access. This is absolutely fundamental for the people, and especially for the children, for instance, to get access to their basic needs. And it's also very important to be clear, the peace process is fundamental for the future, because if we want security in that region, peace is absolutely needed.
How can the outcomes of this conference translate into effective on-the-ground support for the people of Gaza?
I think that this conference is an occasion to mobilize more support, more financial support, and also more political support. In the short term, this is absolutely fundamental to help the people in need, point one. It's also important to put more international pressure for making possible this ceasefire. This is absolutely urgent, and also this is essential to talk about the two-state solution. What does it mean, and what are the steps that are needed to make it happen, to make it real? The topic is not only what are the statements that are made. This is important, but this is only a step. What is important is to implement the commitments that we are making.
How can the EU leverage its strategic position and influence to prevent and alleviate the harm and suffering on Gazan civilians?
On the EU side, the history of this political project is founded on human dignity, on international cooperation, rule of law, and international law. This is the foundation of this EU's project, and that's why we have to be very vocal at the international level. It's one thing. But if I'm more operational, there are two elements I would like to mention. On the one hand, the EU is the main economic partner of Israel, and on the other hand, the EU is the main donor and supporter of the Palestinian Authority. And that's why our political role should be more in line with this influence we have because of our position in terms of ethnic partnership or in terms of partnership for development for the Palestinian people.
Are you looking for new ways of cooperation with Jordan to help Gaza, especially after this conference?
Jordan is playing a very fundamental role, and we commend the role played by the King of Jordan, by the authorities of Jordan, and we will continue to support Jordan as much as we can, because we know that the challenges they face are extremely complex, extremely difficult, and the stability of Jordan is also the stability of that region and the stability of the relationship between the EU and that region. And that's why with the King we have the occasion on a very regular basis to assess our bilateral partnerships and to see what we can do to improve and to deepen this partnership for the benefit of the people in that country, but also for the benefit of the stability in that region.
Thank you for being here.